obviously under the incorrect impression that we were going to be meeting this morning at 8 o'clock with Jenabeth and me and you.
Oh, so Jenabeth is supposed to be here. Yeah, instead of 8 a.m., it was
Yeah.
8 p.m.
Well, you know what was funny is I thought to myself, I knew April told me she was a night person. Why, but then I thought maybe Jenabeth's schedule made it that it had to be in the morning. So I was up bright and early, which is not
Oh,
my thing either.
sorry. Let me
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It just made no sense to me. And so when you said 8 p.m., I thought, okay, well, I must have just heard it wrong.
let me find her and make sure
Yes, so I do have questions about pagination.
I'm and pagination.
Right.
Yes, yes. Let me see. Because she did say that she was going to be able to join. Let me see.
Yeah, I was hoping to just hear what she had to say.
Mhm.
I've never met her.
Oh, we've talked through emails. She's
Yeah,
extremely helpful.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. She
And so
follows up and then she gave me more quotes than I even asked for.
Right.
what is her area of
She,
it?
yeah, so she is a rep that works for Jostens and a number of other printing companies. And so she's just there to focuses on helping people find, and helping them get associated and getting their quotes and everything with printers. So I am going to see if she is going to be able to join. So I do hope that she will be able to join us. And we can work through some of this or go through some of the information. I'm just not as well versed in all of this stuff when it comes to all of the intricacies of the printing process.
Sure.
But we should be able to get some help with her. Let me
Okay.
see also, I'm just going to pull up YouTube and see if we've got anybody there that is looking to get questions answered. Okay, hold on.
YouTube gave me a notification that you were online right now.
That's a good thing. So yeah, it's good. I want to make sure people know how to find us or hang out with us if they want to do that. So let's do
Someone
self-publishing.
is always watching. You got to live a clean life.
Well, when I do a live on YouTube, it's actually really nice because and it gives you that option to like let everybody know all of my followers will see that I'm going live. And it does, when you go live on Facebook, it does the same thing where all of your Facebook followers will get some information, or your friends that are there on following you on that particular channel. So it is a great, and now I saw a bunch of people these days have been doing lives on LinkedIn, which I thought was kind of interesting as well. So let's
Didn't even
see.
know that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't realize it either, but I'm starting to see more and more of that. So let's see. Give folks an opportunity to join. So we want to talk about printing, if we can get Jenabeth to join. Are there other topics? I see Pat is here as well. Pat, did you have any specific topics that you wanted to chat about today?
Hold on.
Sorry.
A question about brand ads on Amazon. I
Okay.
don't know if this would be a good place to talk about it,
Mhm.
but I know that for a brand ad, you have to have 3 books, which I do, and I think I'm running a brand ad. But it's changing and you've got to have some kind of a logo or a picture. So I don't know if the cutoff date was March the 1st that you had to edit this ad,
I think it might be the 15th. I think you still have time.
and in order to edit a brand ad, can you just go into the ad itself and edit it, correct? Like to add a picture?
Yeah, you can modify the brand ad, and I will try to pull it up. So I see John is watching us on YouTube. And we've got a small group, but let me see if I can share, because
You can just show me where I would go.
yeah. Let me go here. And first of all, I want to see if we can find one that really shows you the new look and feel of these ads. And one thing that's really cool, Pat, is that when you update the information, it's so cool. You actually have the ability to add up to 5 images, and the images scroll. So it's kind of looks, it's got the movement, which will really help with just capturing people's eye. Fairy tale books. I don't know. I'll just do that. Let's see. Fairy tale books. Come on. Give me something to look at here. Yeah, there we go. So here's an image. This image right here is, so this is the new look of the brand ads. You've got the 3 that usually goes across the top. It's right at the top. And then now they're requiring that you have an additional image. If you have the regular brand ads that are, and you don't have the update to add an image to it up front over here, they're going to stop serving those ads at on a certain day. I forget. I think feel like it's mid-March. So you still do have some time. And if you go in and you add an image like this, like I said, you can add up to 5 images. So what will happen is it just kind of scrolls one after another, and it's a really cool way to handle. Let me just see if I can get one of my other authors who is running an ad like this with all of the scrolling, travel books for kids. Let's see if I can get Ekaterina's ads up. There it is. So here, watch what happens with her ad. I think it just takes a moment for it to refresh on my screen because it is such a slow poke right now with all of the recording that's going on. Come on, show me some movement here. So here's the 3 travel books. She has 6 of them now. So we've been doing like separate brand ads for her book. And we have put the extra scrolls here. I don't know why it is taking so long to start moving. Let's see.
Where do you go to edit the ad? Like, for example, if she already had the 3 books and now she's got to add this extra, do you go into
do you mind if I pull yours up, Pat?
Sure.
And show you? All right, so I'll do this. We'll go in to, you might have to give me a code, that's all. I just will need a code if I go in and it requires one, you might need to give it to me. So let's go check out. There we go. Have you here. Because you and I have done coaching, that information already. So I've got your books here. And if we go to the marketing and go pull up your ads, we'll go here to .com, go to the ads console. Okay, so here's your brand, right? The all brand. So if we click on that one, I'm sorry, my computer's so slow. I probably should have closed out a lot of these. So if we go to campaign settings, let's see, where the heck? This is all lottery, active campaign. Hold on. Gonna go back to the ad group because that's what we really do managing. That's HA. Here's the different ads. Let's open that up. Brand ad, sponsored brand. Okay. So when you click in, I don't know why it's not showing me the ad group. Oh, here's creative. So you're going to click creative.
I'm
And
writing this down.
yeah,
Creative.
yep. It's so here we can see that your ad just has your 3 that go across, and it doesn't have the updated creative. So given that, now I've seen others that allow me to go in and modify the creative. This one is just giving me, it looks like, the ability to view it, but I'm not seeing a place that I can go in and modify it. And I have absolutely gone in and done and modified some for Bobby and her ads, Bobby Hinman. So this is weird. This one doesn't seem to want to let me make any changes, because normally when I go to a brand ad, it does give me that.
So what I can do is maybe make a ticket and
Well, I would just go and create a new
creative and see what I can do.
yeah,
Okay,
just create
thank
a new,
you.
create a new ad. And if
Yeah.
any others that are here that are brand ads, no.
No, just that one.
I wonder. So we've got campaign manager. I had to go in and update it for Ekaterina and for Bobby's, and I had no problem with it. So it could be the time or how old the ad is, or the type of brand ad it is. Let me just
Think I should stop it and start a new one?
Campaign settings. So it's not that. Yeah, I would probably start a new one. And at some point it's going to stop serving up the one that's there. So if it's doing well, you can probably leave it. But this one, so this is top of search, and we see that this is all it's showing. Yeah, the other ones were giving me no problem going in and adjusting. And I've never seen it not allow me in. So
Okay.
yeah, I would create a brand new one.
All
And
right.
if we were to do that and we went into your campaign manager here and we created a new ad, if you're okay with that, I'll just kind of show you where you can make those changes and what it looks like. If we
Okay.
go to create the campaign, here's the sponsored brand. Okay, and we've got the ad group setting, so it shows the product collection, and this is the one that is causing the issue where people have to have this new look and feel. But you also, if you have not done anything with video ads, it's a great opportunity, because now, where not too long ago you would have had to come to somebody like me that has a special kind of ad features and special kind of account to be able to run video ads. Now authors can do that themselves. So this is another great option for people. And with this, you need to have the 3. So you've got books. You've got 3 books, right? So we'll put Delmar the Dinky and the Animal Circus. We've got Delmar the Dinky and the Olympics, and Delmar the Dinky, the regular one. So we've got all 3 here. And you can preview your landing page if you want to see what it's going to look like. But there's also, as we scroll down here, the creative section is down here. So you have to come to the creative area and you see how it's got, they want a headline, they want an image. And so you can just go in and you can, you know, choose your author image from whatever creative that you have. If you already
Okay.
have one, you can just choose it. So we're putting the little dinky up here.
Okay.
And then we're going to go back and choose the headline. And some of it's really cool because if you give it a second, join the fun with Delmar the Dinky family. Like it offers you some AI ideas if you're not quite sure what to do with a headline, or if you put one up there, it will allow you to show other AI suggestions.
Well, that'll be pretty easy to do. Something I can work on. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
now the images, this is where the custom images are. So we put it in here and you can see the image specs are 1200 by 628. So what I would typically be doing is going into Canva, creating 1200 by 628, and then throwing it up into this. Let me see if we go to Canva. Or any image editor if you use something different, but just Canva is so simple. I'm going to just create a custom size, 1200 by 628, create new design. I'll save this as draft for you too. Let me see, Delmar. I think we have some Delmar the Dinky images that I've done before. All right, let's pretend these are Delmar the Dinky images. We'll just add some here, whatever this is. Okay.
Yep, I can do that.
Yep. And so you're exporting the size.
Right.
And then here, I'm just going to say I'll do page 1 first, and then I'll export page 2. Download page 2, just so you see what this looks like. So I'm going to export. I've got the images in the right size. So now what we'll do is just come in to this and we'll upload the images. Upload image. So if it's this one, oh, that's not exactly what I was looking for. I grabbed the wrong one, I think. Image. Oh, here they are. They hadn't shown up yet. Okay, so we have one here and we're able to see what it looks like. And then they have this little like focus thing where you drag it along because they want you to see on the right side, this is what it'll look like on a smaller ad. So if I move it over here, you see how it's not going to show me the center. So it allows you to kind of align where you want this second one to go. And then I can do apply. And then, so that's just, and I'm not going to make this active, but then it says add another image. So I can go here and upload a second image. And you can upload 5 images, which is really cool. Give me a second here while I let this refresh. And I'll go to this one. Oh, hold on. I uploaded the same one. Upload image. And we'll do this one. Nope, I'm doing the same thing. All right, add another image. So you can continue adding more. And then you can also preview what it looks like, and you can see the image specs. It'll also give you information if it thinks that what you've uploaded is, so see how this is moving, moving, moving. So that's what happens with the 5 that you upload. But you'll also have to take the look over here, because it gives you a warning if there's something wrong with the image that you put up there. AI is just amazing, and it's incorporating a lot of these AI things. So what it's basically telling me is it doesn't want to see words. It just wants to see pictures. So it doesn't feel like it's a good experience to have words on your slides. It just wants images. So it will probably, if I wouldn't change it, it would probably go through and reject this ad. But I think you can see the types of things that this will also provide for. And I think it's a great one to experiment with, get some really beautiful images of your book, maybe some nice 3D cover, mock-ups front and back, and really show the beauty of what's inside of your book. And I love that it's moving, because that gives you so much more. Let me see if I don't know if I'm refreshing the right thing here. I'm so surprised that this is not like showing me the refresh that's happening here. Let's go back. It could just be my computer, or there's some other thing going on. But I was watching this earlier, and it was cycling through all of the different things that we had uploaded. So I'm not sure if that only happens at certain moments here, or if it's just my computer's extremely slow. But if you have an opportunity to check out the search term travel book for kids, that I know that's one of the ones that we're targeting with this ad. I think that could really be, you'll get a sense of what that scrolling looks like. I definitely should close down all of these images here. So that's one thing. The other new thing too that just recently came up with Bobby Hinman is that she got an email from Amazon saying she had been added to a new pilot program, and that a couple of her books have been identified as eligible for a new pilot where she can use AI to create an audiobook. So her books, like her How to Self-Publish book and Mastering the Art of Writing children's books, both of those were flagged as available. So I'm probably going to start doing a little bit of experimentation with that and see how that comes together. And I'll be reporting back as we play around with that. But it's kind of cool that they can, we can upload the book, and supposedly the AI will create the audio that we need. I don't know how robotic it will be. Maybe we'll have different voices to choose from, but it's going to be really cool. And I know that there is some capability with some of the AI tools I've been playing with, where you can record your own voice and you train it on your own voice, and then it generates that in your own voice. So I'm kind of interested to see whether or not there's anything like that in this new pilot program.
You have so much content, you can just upload videos and train it like that.
I have been training my AI voice, because I use one of the things I use for video editing is called Descript. And I upload the video, and then I start, kind of editing things. And sometimes it's not always very, very smooth, or I want to correct an error or something. And now with this new AI integration with that tool, I can say, I can change words that and make it something different, and it will overdub in my own voice the missing, even if it's a different words I didn't speak. So I've been having fun playing around with that, and it's nice to be able to have that kind of correction, where before it would take me so long to do video editing. Now on a few clicks, and I can remove all the ums and ahs and filler words that we put up. And it also allows, now that it will allow me to just replace things, and then a couple of clicks to make the sound better and to improve video quality, and then you export it, and it's kind of really cool. It's giving people a lot more in their hands, even for people who are not really tech savvy. Some of these tools are making it really simple.
And I just want to bring up some news I heard today that is adjacent to the Amazon and audiobooks thing. Brandon Sanderson, he's a fantasy author. He's one of the best selling fantasy authors in the world. He held out on Amazon and did not put his Audible books up there. The Amazon has now come to him and said, we want to rework the royalty structure in audiobooks. So everyone is going to get a bump in their audiobook royalties pretty soon. So that was very interesting.
Yeah, that was amazing. And it takes, I think it's just amazing to have somebody that has that kind of clout that says, I'm not going to do anything until Amazon makes a policy decision, and to actually make that happen because of his influence. That is just
it would take him or Stephen King or J.K. Rowling, somebody like that. And he actually did it. So
I have a lot of respect for what he does, and the fact I followed his Kickstarter campaign when he was launching multi-million-dollar campaign that he raised when he went live with those. I think he did 4 books at once. So it was amazing to watch. And then
he just announced another secret project too, by the way.
Ah, very interesting. I like it. I like it. I need to think about some secret projects of my own. Let's see if we have any questions over here. Okay. Let's see. No additional questions out there. So for those of you that are out on YouTube watching this, post your questions or comments here and let us know if you have any questions you want us to target. It doesn't look like we're getting Genevieve to drop in. I'm going to have to reschedule with her, and I'll do something to see if she can join us for Tuesday's session. Actually, if I can get her to come in on Thursday for the author group, I will ask her to do that and to present to the group and answer some questions about pagination and things like that. She'll also be able to give us some pricing and estimates for printing. If you have specific things, Michael, Sherilyn, that you want quoted for her, I can give her that information ahead of time and ask her to bring it to the Thursday session.
She already gave me a lot of quotes. I just wanted to hear more about what she said, really.
Okay. All right.
And we're pretty anxious about this whole page thing because we thought we were set, and now we're sounding like there's some discrepancy in terms of the number of pages that are being counted. And before we move forward on anything, we really need to know.
I will say that even though, the whole idea of pagination can sound really overwhelming and block you, like, oh, am I going to need to add an extra page? Am I going to need to remove a page? It's really not as stressful, and it's not as difficult to deal with. So depending, as we had discussed, when you're doing print on demand, you have to do things slightly differently. You have to leave a blank page at the end so that you don't end up with a bunch of additional blank pages from KDP or from Ingram. With the other, you're better, better to have all of your pages filled up if you're doing offset print. And so I don't think it's going to be nearly as stressful as you think, and we should.
I didn't think so, but we count it as 32 pages and they're counting it as 36. That's a big difference. And then, the whole concept of it has to be divisible by 8 or it has to be divisible by 4. We're just being given a lot of different information that had been given.
Yeah, and when we looked at your layout, it was 32 pages And you've got a plan to have 4 more, which are end pages at the front and at the back. So you've got 4. So that's, I think, where the 36 is coming from. I think you're good, and I don't feel like you're going to have any issue whatsoever, but we will make sure that that's the case.
Okay. We would be really grateful because we're so confused about so many other things that we thought this was in the, like one of those resolved issues.
Yeah. Yep.
So, we hate to see that come back and need attention at this point. So that would be great.
Yes, we'll absolutely do that. So one of the other things that is relatively new that I wanted to talk about with folks here is we're seeing some new things coming up with A+ content. And I thought it was really cool, so I wanted to bring it up. So I'm going to go to, let's see, we have When I'm an Astronaut. I'll just pull up one of the books that this is Samantha Pillay, one of the authors that I work with. This is her book, When I'm an Astronaut. She has a series of 3. She also has 2 new ones that are being released. One of them is available now. It's called When I'm the President. And these are all inspiring, and girls in different types of career options. And when we set up these, first of all, you can see that the branding itself is really cool because you can see that it's all for the same publisher. It has a very similar look and feel. When we get down to the A+ content on these books, we have a beautifully designed A+ here. We have some great interior images. The whole branding of Dream Big, Aim High is really beautiful. Some interior images that are really beautiful. More information about the author's mission. So remember, these A+ content allows you to have 5 modules that you add in. And you can do this yourself. You don't need me to do it or anybody else to do it for you. You can do it yourself as an author. When you go to your bookshelf, you go to your marketing tab, where the same place that you would set up your free ebooks, or you would choose your Amazon ad campaign. If you scroll down a little bit in that marketing, you have access to set up your A+ content, and you add up to 5 modules. So this is one module here, a nice, 2 front and back 3D mock-up is beautiful. Over here we did, and what I typically recommend with my authors is talk about 3 things that are really important about your book. Why should I buy it? Why should I buy it for my grandchild? And so, launching dreams and learning about life in space and exploring the unknown, tapping into imagination, all of that is really good. I also like being able to highlight companion books and a little bit of information about the author. So if I have enough room, I can do that. And then this here is a module within A+ content. And it was always here. You could always enter some metrics here, and you could put advertise or cross promote some of your other books. But now, instead of just being able to see them, now Amazon has added this add to cart feature, and it's showing all of your reviews and your pricing. So this truly is something that allows people to sell multiple books and cross promote. As you can see, if somebody has found this and they love the idea of being able to, help little girls, the whole girl power, girls doing things that, oh, here we got Jen Beth Ortiz here. So she is going to be able to answer the questions. All right. So, but yes, these add to cart, I think, are going to really help with more conversions. And what I think will be happening here is that people will start selling a lot more than just the one book that someone is landing on. If you do a really good job of making sure that you're building a brand, then that A+ content with that particular module down there can really help with cross promotion. I see your hand is up. Go ahead, Pat.
I just think for these authors that the A+ content is just so important. If you feel that you cannot do it on my first book, I had April's team do my A+ content, but I believe on my last book, I did it myself. You must understand, I'm not very technical, but I used April's handout and I used her YouTube videos and was able to create it in Canva myself. So it's really worthwhile to have it. Those are just my comments.
And that was for your Delmar the Dinky Animal Circus, is that right? This one?
I think I did the Olympics on my
Oh,
own.
the
I'm
Olympics?
not sure
Okay.
which one.
Okay, let me just see. Delmar the Dinky Olympics. Let's just take a look at that, Pat, and maybe I can give you a little feedback on it as well. Okay, so we've got the Olympics here. And we'll scroll down. Look at that.
Mhm.
So from the publisher, nice. This is really well done, Pat. And you followed along with some of my recommendations, pick 3 things. So it was important for you to let people know what a dinky is and that there's some history there that is important in the book. And it encourages people, children to believe in themselves. So love it. I think that's really great. And you can see on your 2 below, you're kind of pulling up those others and you've included this, and now you have that cross promotion there as well.
Mhm.
Very good. And if you have an activity book or something, you can also add those there. That'll be wonderful. And one of the things I was just thinking too is that you can include your own books and you can include other people's books. So if you have 6, let's just say there's an opportunity to put 6 things down here in the competition. Well, what if you found 2 other authors that each have a couple of books, and you and them help cross promote one another in your A+ content? That could be kind of interesting, right? Instead of having 2, maybe there are other little train books or toddler books that could complement what you're doing, and then they do it in theirs. And then, I think that could be a great collaboration. I've not seen anybody do it, but there's no reason you can't. So something to think about. Let's see. Hi, Jenabeth. You were hanging out in YouTube? Okay, that's okay.
I was hanging out on YouTube. I'm sorry I did not get your Zoom link until later.
No problem. Why don't I see if you could are you okay with taking yourself, adding your video there? Hi, Jenabeth. It's so nice to see you.
I'm here and I'm so sorry because I just woke up. I'm actually in the Philippines right now.
Okay. So we're happy to have you. And I had mentioned to some of our folks that since you are have been my go-to person to do some answering on, bulk printing and different options, it was a nice opportunity for us to have you here today and be able to answer some things. And Sherilyn, I know yours is really important to you. So if you want, I'm happy to pull you forward. And between the 2 of you, you can ask your question and we can see if we can get you some guidance that you need for your printing.
Oh, that would be fabulous. Hi, Jenabeth.
Hi there, how are you?
Well,
I'm sorry, I just woke up.
Oh, that's all right. I woke up this morning for you and didn't find out until midday that we were meeting at night. So it seems to be just a thing we have in common. I am in one of April's author groups, and we have just completed our storyboard, and we're
Nice.
to begin working with the graphic designer. But when we met with them, both of them seemed to come up with different page numbers for the length of what we had. And so I got a little freaked out. because they were saying that they were just giving us different information in terms of what we needed to do to adjust. And April told me that you were like the queen of trying to figure that out. And so I was hoping that I might be able to share what ours looks like and to get your feedback in terms of, do we need to change how it's laid out, either to offset print or to do print on demand?
So, just a major guideline, and I think where the confusion is, April, with many authors, not just your authors, but authors that I work with, is when they count when they do the page count, they do it in one file. The cover, and then if it's a hardcover, then the end sheets, and then the text pages. That's what confuses it. So, but when you I don't know on Amazon, right? But for most printers, especially offset printing, when you submit a file, it's all separate. You submit the cover file, you submit the end sheet file, you submit the text file. So when determining the number of pages, just count your text pages. Don't count the end sheets, don't count the cover, just how many are in your text pages, because that's how also your book is being coded. So when you say 32 pages, it's just the text, doesn't include the cover, doesn't include the end sheets. Does that make sense?
Yes. And so you begin so for an offset printed book, you would have the end page that's glued down. Then you would have the page next to it, right? That you would then turn. We were hoping to have on the back of that a copyright page opposite a title page.
Sherilyn, do you want to share your layout?
You just share it, yes.
Sure, I would be happy to do that. Hold on a minute. Share.
And while you're pulling that up, I'm going to just take a moment to answer a question from Pat Farrell, who is on YouTube with us. Pat says, I'm a recent illustration graduate. What are some steps that I can do to start working in children's book illustrations? So my understanding is you've just graduated from art school or something like that. What I would recommend if you're trying to break into doing children's book illustrations is to create a children's book for yourself. Go ahead and take your illustrations, create something because there are things out there that are in the public domain. One most recent one that I worked with someone on was the Emperor's New Clothes, right?
Oh, wow. Yes.
So they took that book, which is in the public domain, and they illustrated it themselves. And when you show people what you're capable of, that can really help you to break in and work with authors. And if you are interested and you do some things, you want to send some my way, just go ahead to my website and submit at selfpubmadesimple.com. And I am happy to also give you an opportunity or provide you with some feedback and let you know whether that is at a level that I would recommend some of my authors work with you on. So I'm happy to do that. I've done that with a couple of illustrators and helped them to break in and to work with some of my authors. So the best way is just to show what you can do. All right, go ahead. You can go ahead and share your screen here.
Can you see that?
I do. Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
I can see that.
Okay. So in this file, we did it as if it were going to be offset printed. Okay, so we started with the end page. Now what you're saying makes sense, that the files would be different, but this was just from our illustrator to get a sense of where things would be. So we have the copyright page on the left with the title page, right? And then
it's showing only end page glued down in hardcover. Oh, hold on.
Right.
All right, go ahead. I'm seeing it now. My apologies.
Sorry.
Right.
And then we have the the children's part of the storybook, right? It goes all the way down, 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 down. There is an adult educator section at the end. And then on what would be our page 31 would be the author illustrator information. And then the end page on the other end.
So that's what I'm saying. I know that she's laying it out for you so that you could see it how it is in a book.
So we would
But
only count, what you're saying then is we would begin counting here or on the
no,
title,
you will be beginning counting on the title page.
not the copyright page.
No. So then if you put, this is the thing, if you put the copyright and the dedication on the end sheet, that is an additional, that always costs you additional. Because when you print on an end sheets, that's additional costs, because end sheets are typically coded to you as blank.
Right.
Okay, so
So you
then,
could put it there. Or you could make the end sheets glued down in a patterned page so that,
that's what we were doing. That's what we thought we were doing here, so that this page would be glued down to the inside of the cover. And this would be a continuation of the pattern that we did. So when you opened the book, you would have the inside of the cover on the left and the first page that you would turn on the right, but it would be one pattern.
Yeah, that
Right?
would be printed. Yeah, that would be considered a printed end sheets.
Okay, perfect. And then when you turn the page, what you're saying is that typically the page that would then be on the left is normally left blank?
Well, no, that's still part of the end sheets. So
Oh,
what will happen, that's still part of the end sheets. So
okay.
so your end sheets on the front and the back technically has 4 sides.
Hmm.
You have side A, which is really glued to the board,
Bottom
right?
side
That you
that-
can't see,
Right.
and then the B is this end page glued down and hardcover version, which is on the left side, glued on the board, and then the end page on the right is loose, right? That's
Front and back.
side C, and then when you turn it, that's side D. Now,
Okay,
from a cost standpoint, if you print that dedication and copyright on the end sheet on that side D, then you will be coded with the printed end sheets 4/4, meaning on 2 sides, instead of printed end sheets 4/0, which is only on 1 side.
okay. And so what would be the additional cost? So you could do it either way. Is it a big difference in the cost? Because it
It
seems
is.
like it is a big difference, really.
Yeah, it would be a big difference because you're printing on 2 sides, and then also it would depend that if it's if it's full color, of course that would be more expensive than if it's just black.
right. Yeah, well, if it was a copyright page, it would probably be just black typeset. But
Yeah.
but still, so that one of the things that we need to consider is if we would add a page later in the book that was part of the interior
Mhm.
interior sheets.
Right.
And
So
then for the interior, I kind of caught your question about some printer will tell you, oh, we have to add a page, we have to add that it couldn't be exactly the number of pages that you want. So it's tricky because every printer's bindery process and every press is different. So some printers will bind your book in signatures of 16, 8, and 4. Some printers will only do it on 16 and 8 and will not do the 4. And that's the reason why some printer will say, Oh, we could do that page count, but we will add blank pages.
I see.
My suggestion is you're always safe if you are on the 16th and the 8th.
Mhm.
Well, we thought we were. I mean, we thought we had 32 pages. So that's
And
why,
it didn't
no,
so
we're being,
how did it not turn 32 pages?
I don't know the answer to that. That's, that, I guess, I
Were
guess,
you counting the end sheets? Were you counting the end sheets when you did the 32?
well,
No?
I have it here, so maybe we can just count and you can tell
Just
me
count from the title page.
from the title page. So this would be page
Yes,
1, right?
1.
So this
Uh-huh.
would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 28, plus those end pages.
So your text pages is actually only 28 pages. So what you could do is you could put your, if you want it to be 32, uh,
I
your
mean,
copyright page, your
right.
copyright page, you can add as part of your text page. Hold on, I can't see what's after.
Where
That's
upper back?
yeah, 28. So then that means you only have 29 pages.
Mhm.
So, so what we would then need to do would be to either spread out, so maybe we would do the author illustrator information on one page and perhaps move the information about our nonprofit to a separate page.
Yeah,
Yes,
let it
Yeah,
yes,
so you could make
let it
copyright
breathe a
one
little
and the
bit.
yeah,
dedication one, and then split that into 2, and that's 4 more
2.
pages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and let things breathe a little bit so they don't look so,
Yeah,
so that you're not,
Dense. We've been looking for a way to
yeah.
do that anyway. I mean, we're still playing with this end piece so that it's not quite as dense for the educators. Okay, so then we could do author and then that wouldn't be a problem. Okay, all right. And so then
Then you have
we would have the 32 plus the end pages,
plus
which
the end pages. Correct.
would be separate. That is much clearer. That was a much
Mm-hmm.
explanation. And so really though, it also depends on the printer then, because if it's 32 pages, then it won't be an
You're
issue
safe.
where we
Yeah,
go.
you're safe with 32 pages.
Now, let me ask
If
you,
you go, if you go 36 pages, some printers can still do it, but you would be surprised that every time you add an odd 4 pages, that is more expensive than you have a even 16 and 8.
wow,
Oh, that's really good to know,
Yep.
Genevieve.
Uh-huh.
no. Okay, okay. And is there anything else I should be asking? Because, we're first time authors.
Mhm.
You
So,
know what I could do, April, is I do have already a setup guideline
That would be really
document.
helpful. Yeah.
And of course, it will still vary from printer to printer,
Mhm.
but even the way InDesign should be set up and exported, because that's what I give our authors. I will share that with you because at least they could use that already as a starting basis.
format, as a
And
format.
right. And then it would just be tweaked depending on the printer you go to, but it's basically kind of your base.
Okay.
That sounds great.
That
The
would
other thing too is if we have an opportunity while we're here and we've got people watching this video, it might be a great opportunity for you also, Genevieve, to introduce yourself tell us a little bit more about you and how people can reach out and contact you for quotes and for these other things, because you have been such a wealth of information. I'd love to give you that opportunity, and I love to connect people to others that they can trust, not to, that can really help with the expert guidance.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, but you know what? What I do is I try to get in your Q&A. But sometimes I would be able to get in YouTube. Sometimes I'll be able to get in Facebook. So but yeah, so as I said, I think where the confusion is a lot is, counting all the pages instead of just counting the text pages. And
Right.
of course, the text pages should always start on the right side.
Mhm. So Jenabeth, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you. Other people can, because Pat just posted a question. Is Jenabeth a graphic designer? No. So tell us about yourself. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Well, I am not a graphic designer, but I do have a team of graphic designers and desktop. So you, how would I say it? I'm actually a baby when it comes to the printing industry. This is a pivot role for me due to the pandemic. I was in the hotel industry. I was doing global sales for major hotel companies, and then the pandemic hit. And everybody knows that the hotel industry was the number one industry that was hit by the pandemic. And I was on a business trip in Atlanta and stayed over to visit friends when the lockdown happened. And then it so happened my best friend, the husband, owns a print brokering business. And so he said, "Hey, you don't have a job, you're locked down, help me out." And I did. And I think because of my sales experience, I was able to translate that to print. But the miracle that happened to me was I rediscovered my love for reading. I rediscovered my love for books. And then I met a lot of inspiring minds, a lot of talented creators and authors and illustrators that the passion within me to help everyone in whatever, whether it's big, whether it's small, is to help people realize their dreams. And so even when the whole world opened up and all of my colleagues reach out to me and said, "Hey, we have a lot of openings for you," I decided to stay in this business. And then it turned out I started my own company. But my company, the way it's modeled is it's not a straight print brokering company, because I represent like Jostens, which is a commercial printer. I represent a digital printing company of Jostens, which is a printer, and then other smaller printing companies, as well as printing companies in China and India. So you're not really dealing with a broker, because I'm an inside person in each of these printing companies. So what you're getting are direct printer's price without eliminating the middleman. And then at the same time, in terms of customer service, in terms of issue resolution, in terms of knowing where your job is, I am the dedicated person that will communicate with you so that you know exactly where your job is. And if you have a problem, you have a question, you only have one person. You're not calling an 800 number.
Right. I also love that you, as an insider, you have, a look into many of the different options that are out there for us. So if I come to you and I say, Jenabeth, I have a problem. I have to meet a certain deadline and I need to turn this around really quickly. Or what can you do to, bring the price of printing down? I'm looking at this kind of budget versus that kind of budget. Those are kind of the things you bring, that consultative piece to it.
Yes.
That will listen to the authors, give different options, and help align them to something that's going to meet their needs, which I love. I really have. It's been a real pleasure working with you, both myself and the authors that I work with.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you, April, for bringing that. So that's one. I mean, April brought a very good point, that working with me or with us, you're not a number. You're not a quotation. And most of the customers that I work with, even if they say, "Oh, I just need a quotation," I am not going to give you a quotation until I've spoken to you, because I really want to understand what your vision is, what your project is, and be able, because you have financial goals, you have publishing plans, right? But you also have a vision of what your book wants to appear. So my role is to be able to find all the different solutions and options, to meet your budget, to meet the schedule, but at the same time still bring your vision to, into reality without breaking the bank. So that's what I could bring. So for example, someone would say, "Oh, I need £100 gloss tax," or what have you, right? So in order to get into your budget, you know, depending on your art, I could say, you know what, an £80 will work on this one. Or some people would say, "Oh, I want my cover to stand out, not just ordinary," right? So, but I don't have a lot of budget, you know? So one of the things that I would say, you know what, we could at least put a spot UV there, or we could put a Scodex there. It's not going to be as expensive as a foil stamp or an emboss deboss, but it will still elevate the book. And one of the things for me, when you do at least 500 to 1,000, it will definitely be a Smite Zone book, especially for children's book. You want that Smite Zone. You don't want the adhesive binding.
Instead of glued, you want them sewed in.
So,
you know what I find so often, and when we reach out to get a quote from a printer, we get this quote that has like all these terms in it that we have no idea what it means. This kind of board and this kind of glow, and they're just foreign to authors most of the time. So I love the fact that we can reach out to you and say, "Can you help us make sense of this, Genevieve? What is, I don't know what oranges to apple, am I getting oranges to apples with these different quotes?" Because
yes,
most of the time the authors will take it on themselves. And I recommend go get multiple quotes so that what's happening, because sometimes there's different prices or specials going on. Other times, if timeline is really important, you might be willing to pay a little bit more if you can get in more quickly. And so you don't know what the queue looks like unless you reach out and ask. So I love you have that ability to be the translator sometime to help us.
And maybe what we could do in the future is we could do a little cheat sheet, right? And then explain to them that if you see this, this is what it means. So I could, and that way, because one of the things too is a lot of times authors kind of boils it down to the price, right? And then they come to me and said, "Oh, your price is the highest." But I said, you could black out everything, but if you could just show me what the specifications is, because I don't know if we're comparing apples to apples or, so that is probably where the difference in price is.
Yeah, because I found that the prices that you've been sharing are some of the best that I found. So, I mean,
well, it's the Aprils. It's the April
April
surprise.
discount.
They will not get, nobody will get that.
So guys, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want the April price, make sure to tell Jennifer that you saw it on my YouTube channel and that you want the April price for this.
April, that's the code, April. Yeah. Actually, I wanted to give you a good news. So Jostens has a digital printing side, so they can handle 500 below quantities. They can't do smite sewn, but they could do adhesive case bind for hardcover books. If you stick to an 8.5 by 8.5, an 8.5 by 11, and an 11 by 8.5, I can give you prices that's lower than Ingram Spark.
Wow.
And the color, so
better
it may be, yeah, it may be adhesive case binding, but and I don't want to be very technical about it, but the difference in color quality of printers is if printers are G7 certified. So even if this is a digital printer presses, we're still G7 certified. So what you're going to get is a really good color quality on your book.
Love it. That's
So just keep that in mind.
fantastic.
And yeah, and for me is if I could show the digital department of Jostens, and they're called print links, if I could show them that I could get more customers that are typically would go to Ingram, right? Then I could advocate and evangelize to increase the different sizes that we can offer. The very reason why we could offer this sizes really very competitive is because these are the standard sizes of yearbooks and of student planners. So we already have the board. We already have the board in-house that we could just spool, while other printers will have to order the board.
I see. Really interesting. I'm so glad to hear you say that. So could you repeat the sizes one more time that will help keep that price low?
8.5 by 8.5, 8.5 by 11, and then if you want a landscape, 11 by 8.5.
Okay. Perfect. Go ahead, Michael. You have a question for Jennifer?
Yeah. Hey, Jennifer. We
Yes.
actually emailed a while back. I don't know if you
Yes.
remember or not, but as when Daddy goes to work, it's me going offshore. And
Yes, yes.
all your quotes for the hardbacks were 500 and above, but you're now saying that you can do hardback, but the adhesive.
With the adhesive, because the digital plant of Jostens just opened to us. Before it was just dedicated to Scholastic, to the schools.
Okay.
And then now, because I told them, I said, I'm losing customers, right? But we do have the facility. Why can't we open that up?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send you another email if you can give me some quotes on those.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
I want to make the larger orders, of course, but I don't want to commit that much money before I can prove that I can sell them. You know,
Right.
I know I can get rid of 100 or 200, but I don't want to be sitting with a couple 200 sitting in my closet for however long. You know. But
Right.
yeah.
I totally understand, and I think that's where I get the value that I bring is because of the network of printers that I have and the influence that I have on those that I represent. We could all grow together because we could start with the 100, or the 50, right? And then when you really have the sale and able to go to that 1,000, I have the printer for you. But I also have customers that already is in their 50,000. And whatever you say, they really want the price. So it makes sense for them to go overseas. And we also have the printer for that. So you don't have to go far. As you grow and scale your business, I could be there with you.
Yeah. One of the things that I have to say when it comes to Jenabeth, and I've seen her working with some of the authors that I help on self-publishing. What I don't see with Jenabeth is high pressure trying to push you into buy more, buy more, buy more, spend more money. I have a person here with me who is after my own heart, wants to understand exactly what the author needs because she values and understands this is a relationship and you are going to grow with her. And today you might only want 50 copies, and in the future it might be 50,000, Michael, especially with the stuff that you're working on. So
I can only hope.
I love that. And there are so many people out there that are just, they're too busy to really explain things. They don't take the time to listen and understand what the author needs and have that consultative personality that really cares about making sure that you're getting what you need and not taking advantage of you. And I'm so grateful that we found each other, Jenabeth, and I always pointing people in your direction because I feel like I have someone who I can trust to take care of the authors that I work with. So I am very grateful for that. And I'm so glad that you were able to come on with us and answer some of these questions.
Yeah, and I'm always available, and I'm always going to try to to jump in if I don't have any calls. And that way, if a question comes up, I'm there readily available. But you could share my, my cell phone, my email, and and if they have questions, just reach out. And for me, it's no string attached, because that's I'm glad you said that. Yes, I really do care about authors. And at the same time, my philosophy is, if I have given you the right information for you to make an informed decision, and you end up going to another printer because you think that that's the best fit for you, then I have done my job. And again, it may not be a sale today, but the important thing is we made a connection. And I think, whatever we plant, right, we will reap. And it may not be an instant one. It may be on another case or another project. So
yeah, absolutely. I agree. I see Sherilyn's hand up. Go ahead, Sherilyn. You have a question?
Well, Jenabeth almost answered it. I was going to ask if she would be willing to share her contact information.
Yes,
so
definitely.
I do have her email that I can post here. I posted it on the YouTube channel. But Jenabeth, if you have additional information you want to post there, I'm happy to copy it here as well. Or if you want to give a phone number that we want to share,
Yeah, sure.
that's absolutely.
Yeah, especially currently I am in Asia. so I'm gonna give you my phone number, and feel free to text, or I do have my own company, Edge Book Printing Solutions. I do have an Instagram and a Facebook, so you could also message me there if that's easier. Whatever is easier for you or your preference of communication, that's how I'm going to communicate with you.
Awesome. That's great.
We should remember there's a 13-hour time difference.
Yeah. So
no,
pop back.
actually, I do work US hours too.
Oh, wow.
So I try. Yes. So don't worry about it. There'll probably gonna be a pocket, like I would say, like about midnight to 3 a.m. I'm probably sleeping. here, which is 11 o'clock to kind of your lunchtime there. So the way I do my sleeping is I break it up
Mhm.
so I can cover different time zones. Actually, on the chat, I think it's Pat. She has a question about a saddle stitch and sewn. So
Right.
maybe that's one of the things that I could include in the cheat sheet also, is what are the different binding. So a saddle stitch is different from sewn. A saddle stitch actually is staples.
Wow.
So when you right, so when you see those soft cover magazines, right? And then you look at the middle, they're really stapled, they're not sewn. That's what a saddle stitch is. And that's the most economical type of binding.
Mhm.
Sewn is what Smite sewn is that, so you have 32 pages, right? So for Jostens, we take 16 pages, you know, so we take a group of pages of 16 and 16, so that's two, and we call that a signature. Each 16 page or 8 pages signature, we sew that. We sew those 16 pages, we sew that 16 pages. And then once that's sewn, you know, then that is the one that's put together in the book and glued.
Okay.
So that's why it makes the book more sturdy. And what it does also is it makes the book lay flatter, which is very important for children's books.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I do with my children's book, with authors that I work with children's book, is I take it to the next level. I suggest a back. If you look at the back of your children's book, the spine, what I do is I suggest a loose back instead of the whole spine being glued to that spine, because if it's a loose back, then the more it gives more give, and the more it gives it, you know, it's more flexible, it lays flat, and the more it lays flatter.
Okay.
And next time, what I could do is I could show you the difference of what's a loose back and what's not a loose back.
Yeah, that would be a great thing to do. And we can
Mhm.
have you, maybe we'll do a more preparation ahead of time so that you can actually, you know, hold up some things and show us what types of things we're talking about. And by having something that we could also actually share, like something that people could download that would give them
Uh-huh.
a lot of these most important FAQs. Because I've been doing this for 6 years. I had no idea there was even any such thing as a, you know, looser bind, what do you call it, spine. I had no idea.
Yes.
So you have a wealth of information, even though you're saying you're a baby in this industry, you've really picked up this stuff fast. And I have, you know, I think it's going to be really helpful to schedule something where we can really dig deep into printing options and pricing and be able to understand where are the economies of, you know, what can we do to differentiate our books but also keep prices down. And then what if we want to do a really premium collector's edition or something like that? What are the options of doing things? So yeah, we
Yes.
went into a lot of those. And also with your knowledge of, you know, what you can do in the multiple different businesses that you work with for printing. It's interesting. I would love to compare what some of the print on demand options are. For example, if you're looking at or comparing Ingram Spark versus what you're printing offset or digitally, like what are the differences? What is Ingram Spark using? Is it, you know, is it glued? Is it bound? What are the, you know, is it saddle stitched? So you have a lot of information that can help us make better decisions. And I would love to extend this and set up something separate with you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, one of the things really with Ingram Spark is the paper that you're getting. You're
Mhm.
getting an encoded paper. You don't have a choice of a coated paper, gloss paper, things like that. And the weight of their paper is only up to 70 pound.
Right.
So while working with us, you could have 100 pound, you could have an 80 pound. And I do work with other authors. Like, I don't know whether you know the sitcom before The Nanny,
Oh, sure.
Fran Drescher.
Yeah.
So I did a children's book for her. It's
Oh,
called N is for Nanny.
well,
And and she went all the way. We have embossing, we have debossing, we have spot UV, we have foil stamp. We chose very premium paper because of the way the artwork is. So those are the things that we can do, but it depends really on your vision. Like I have an author that she watercolored, illustrated her book, and she wanted to make sure that there is no very little digital manipulation. So in order to get that watercolor illustration to really come alive, we really had to choose and look for the right kind of paper. So those
Mhm.
are the things that we can do. And as April said, maybe later on you wanted to do a special edition, which a lot of comic book creators do. They have the version for the masses, and then they have the version that is special edition, only 300 or 500, and they're numbered.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you and I are going to connect and we're going to put something special together, and I will let people know when they can tune in. And if you are not already a part of my Self-Publishing Made Simple mailing list, go on to selfpubmadesimple.com and subscribe, because you'll be the first to know about these new events. Most of what we do here, or a good part of it, is absolutely free for informational purposes and to help people so that they are not being taken advantage of and not completely
Yes.
lost, because this is very confusing. Especially
Yes.
printing and self-publishing can be really confusing. So, and if you are watching this and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please click on the subscribe. We are looking to continue to grow the channel, bring on sponsors, and bring on fabulous speakers. And so the more the channel grows, the better we can do to bring you really great topics as well. So thank you guys for joining me. We are just at the end of our time for today, but we will be back again next week for this open Q&A,